It is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer, along for the ride as well. It's almost like we've got uniforms on today. We're almost dressed the same.
What color is that?
I don't know. It's kind of goldish.
Mine's like a green, like a puke green kind of. Or
Sorry,
split pea soup green.
Oh, pea soup.
You know, you see this hat though, Chris. I don't care about your hat. This hat, baby.
What does it say? Twins?
It's the Minnesota Twins hat. This
God,
is the hat of the summer.
We might be talking about them in a positive light in a few minutes. We'll see.
Yes. Can't wait for that.
Let's start off with a tip of the cap, no matter what cap you're wearing, to the Pittsburgh Pirates, who scored 9 runs in beating the Angels. And maybe, just maybe, it's because they had a special visitor out in Anaheim before the game. I went out and did my dugout discussions with former NL MVP Andrew McCutchen, and several hours later, what happened? He goes deep. Now, back when I used to work at Intentional Talk, we had this thing called IT Mojo, where they would come on as a guest and then they'd homer that day. So I don't know if this is Dugout Discussions Mojo. Can I start that or not?
Well, no, because I'll take credit for this one. I was actually texting with Kutch yesterday. Okay, so I'll take T. Plouffe Mojo for this one. I'm going to see him on Friday. If you're in LA going to the Dodger game, I will be there.
Awesome.
Look for me right behind the Pirates dugout.
I got there early, about 2:00, several hours before the game. This giant starts walking toward me. He says, "Hey, I'm Paul." I was like, "Yeah, I have an idea who you are." Had a wonderful chat with Mr. Skeens. He will be in some of our content coming up in the next few weeks. He was great. He was funny. He had a good, dry sense of humor. We had a great 10-minute talk. He was, and he is a mountain of a man.
I'm falling in love with the guy, not for his on-field talent, but I do think he's starting to realize, and almost reluctantly, I guess, that he is going to be one of the faces of baseball, and he's done a good job of promoting the game. So I'm in on him, man. To be able to, as a young pitcher, continue the level of dominance that he's had, put the work in. We all know about his work ethic, but also still put time aside to promote the game, I think is a very special quality. So I'm big on Paul Skeens.
So it was funny. This was a big day for him. He grew up not far from Angel Stadium, and that was basically his home MLB park, if you will. I said, "Well, where did you sit?" He's like, "Oh, I used to sit all over." He goes, "I remember as a kid coming to watch Shohei Ohtani pitch." I'm like, "Really, dude?"
Hey, what was that, 8 years ago?
Right. It was 2018, I guess. So he was 15 or what have you. He's 22.
That's amazing.
He's 22. Well, look forward to that. All the Pirates and Angels that we talked to are great. It's a lot of fun. All right, let's start off with this. It's the reason I'm wearing a Cubs hat today. They have been involved in some crazy-ass games during this homestand, right? We talked about the Diamondbacks Cubs game from last Friday. Well, last night's was probably even better because Chicago was down to its last out.
A mile into center field. Edmonds back at the wall. Jumps up. It's into the basket. Hat ground ball into right field for a base hit. Brujan rounds third. Throw home. It's late. Cubs win.
We don't quit here. If they score 5, we're ready to score 1 per inning, and the mentality here to go out there and compete every single pitch. That's what is being helping us.
That, of course, is the Chicago backstop Miguel Amaya, who tied the game off of Tanner Scott with 2 outs in the 9th. We don't talk a ton about individual games, but this one had so many weird ebbs and flows from the first inning on.
Well, I think this is if you've watched the Cubs play, I mean, this is the kind of team they can be. They don't back down to anybody. They're never really out of a game. They put together good at bats. They have a mixture. They've been getting crazy production out of their catchers. It's insane. I mean, that's the ultimate cheat code. But yeah, that was an incredible game to watch.
And for years, when I used to watch games at Wrigley as a kid growing up, I said, why the hell do they have those baskets? And I don't know if my dad told me the truth or not, but he said it was to catch all the drunk people that were that were in the outfield.
I see that.
Well, last night, that basket came in handy because if it's not there, that ball's off the wall of
Could have been
Amaya.
caught.
I don't know if it gets caught, but yeah, I mean, certainly it's in play. Let's just put it that way. But it just is. I don't think there's any better park when the the home team is playing well and the game's on the line and there's that much drama. I don't know if it's because the ivy starts to grow on the walls at this time of year. I don't know if it's because the lighting looks more like a movie than it does like a baseball diamond, but it just feels different at Wrigley.
It's the fans. It's the fans. They're great. Look, I hate to say this. The ivy doesn't do it for me, to be honest with you. I don't love the brick wall and the ivy. But it's the fans, man. They pack that place every single game. And, maybe they get a little intoxicated and maybe that basket is for them, but it works. That's a great atmosphere. It's awesome.
So do we think that the Cubs are the most fun team in baseball to watch?
I got a bunch of teams that I love to watch. Right now, Cubs are up there. The Mets are up there. The A's are up there. I love watching them. The Diamondbacks are up there. The Giants are up there. So either one of. I can't definitively give that answer. I think if I really was being honest with you, I love watching the A's play. I do. I just like the young guys. It's fun. That's a fun brand of baseball. Even though they don't win all the time, there's something about them, which maybe sounds like a silly answer, but Cubs are definitely up there.
I think the Cubs might be the right answer, although I would say a Padres home game is tough to beat
Padres are
too.
good too. Great call.
I would say the Cubs from this standpoint because I don't think their bullpen is good enough to hold leads like we saw last night either. Although their last three relievers did a very, very good job.
Yeah, Porter Hodge came in and did a good job. Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been so much more fun if Justin Turner had to stay on second base and run right there? You think they send him? I don't know.
Probably not. I think at 40 years old, you kind of got to play station to station for the most part, unless you were Kenny Lofton. So, yeah, that's a good call. That's good. Let us know, though, most fun team in baseball to watch and why. Because for me, the Cubs have a little bit of Jameis Winston in them. And I know I'm combining sports, but Jameis Winston is a guy that can make every throw in the NFL, has an amazing arm, incredible personality, but he will keep your team and the other team in it. And I feel that's a little bit where the Cubs are at this point.
Two things. You notice that I only brought up the A's, or the only American League team I brought up.
I did notice that.
And I met Jameis Winston. He came into the Tampa Bay locker room one day, and I was expecting boisterous, kind of like, what you see in like interviews and stuff. He was like the most chill, like down to earth, cool guy sitting there. It blew me away. We had a great baseball discussion. I've always rooted for him.
Well, I mean, let's remember, he was a great two-sport player at Florida State. He'd come out of the pen throwing 90 plus, and he could play. So he probably has so much respect for the game that he's a guy.
It blew me away. Like, I was expecting something completely different than what I got.
Yeah, he's the next media superstar to come out of the NFL, by the way. We've already seen it off the field, and he's well on his way. One other quick note about the Cubs makes them so fun. They have scored double digits 7 times in 25 games. Only the 1891 Cubs did that more frequently, and they weren't even called the Cubs back then. Interesting. Dodgers, very quickly, since their 8-0 start, they're 500 team, 8-8. Anything to be concerned about? Let's do this one quickly.
Max Muncy. Got to see something different out of him. He's pulling off the ball so quickly. It just doesn't look right. And when we were talking about all-time great rosters, you're counting Max Muncy as to be a guy that can be a run producer and a guy that gives you good at-bats, and he just hasn't been that so far.
So interesting. I talked to Muncy after the Japan trip and before the regular season started. It was one of those exhibition games against the Angels. And I asked him how it was because everybody was just glowing about it. He said it was incredible. He said, the thing I'm worried about, he said, last year when I came back from Korea, it took me weeks to feel right. Okay. And I'm wondering if whether it's real or it got in his head or something, that it's taken him a month to figure this out again.
Yeah.
Possible. For me, Noah Davis last night was the guy that threw that one and only. That was the first pitch he threw as a Dodger. He's a former Colorado Rockies pitcher. So when he threw that, he became the 20th different player to throw a pitch for the Dodgers already this season.
Mm.
We've only played 24 games. Now, one of those guys was Miguel Rojas, a position player, but you get my point. Like are they going to try and set a record for most pitchers used?
I feel like they do that every year, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
They go through pitchers, man.
Yeah, they don't care. I think they just feel like if we break guys, we'll buy something new.
Kind of.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
That's a funny way to think about it. Like a spoiled kid's like, whatever. That'll buy me a new one.
Seriously, tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
I don't think so. I don't know. Let us know. Anybody worried about the champs? I mean, with all this being said, I think they're just a game out.
Yeah, what are they, 16-9 or something?
Yeah, they're 16-8, right? Yeah.
They're going to be okay.
Yeah, they'll be fine, but I mean, it's just at the beginning of the year we were going, can they get past 116 wins? And yes or no, do they get 100?
I took the under on that at the beginning of the season because I just don't think they care. I don't think that's and we talked about that. Do they care about the record? Like, I don't think that matters to them. Do they want to win the division? Do they want to have the number 1 seed? Yes. They want to have home field advantage. They want to be able to skip the wild card round, all of that. But I don't think they care about like the record or 100 wins. If it gets to that point in September where they're still chasing down and they have to put the pedal down to get that 1 seed, I think we'll see them care about regular season wins more at that point. But right now, I feel like they're like, hey, let's just get to the season. Let's make sure we're healthy. That's the mentality.
We did talk with Freddie Freeman on dugout discussions about if it's fair to have the whole World Series or bust mentality. So go check out his answer. He was very, very good on it. All right, let's move on to the New York Mets. They've won 6 in a row as Philly continues to have Citi Field be their personal house of horrors.
And he lines one into left field for a base hit. Alonso is in. Here comes Vientos. The throw to the plate is not in time. And the Mets have a 4-run lead. It's 5-1.
I love the bat spike. That never gets old. All right, so the Mets now have the largest division lead, 4 games, but more importantly, they own Philadelphia at home. 7 of the last 8. I believe that includes last year's playoffs. And Philly is just 6-19 there since 2022. How much of a problem is that for Philadelphia?
It's not a problem. I think there are certain places that you go in and, you feel really comfortable playing either specifically as a player or as a team. And clearly they don't feel too great going in there. Some of that has to do with, the Mets playing well and being a very good baseball team. I don't think it necessarily matters. Like if we're talking a playoff series and Mets have the home field advantage against them, like I'm not going to go back to that stat and say this really matters. I think that at that time you separate it and it just goes game by game. And specifically in the playoffs, I feel like we've seen road teams win a ton over the last couple of years. So I don't think it matters that much, but it matters a little. Is that an answer? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Chad?
it's fine. You could say it matters, but not a ton. What matters more is that Christopher Sanchez left the game early. What matters more is that the bullpen doesn't feel 100% trustworthy. Those are the things that would worry me, whether we're playing at Citi Field or Kauffman Stadium, or it doesn't matter where we play. Just the fact that sort of stuff happens. And, we've talked about this a ton with this team. Like, this is probably the last year of this real solid group of players. Real Muto, Schwarber, both free agents. You have to imagine if they don't get it done as a team, that Dombrowski's going to do something fairly drastic, whether it's a trade or like this group of guys is probably their last shot to get it done.
Yeah, I think Real Muto stays.
It'd be interesting to see what kind of money he gets.
He's just, when you have a guy like that, a catcher like can command the respect and like knows how to handle the pitching staff and has been there. I just think it's so valuable, man.
I would agree with that. I want to see how many games he's played this year because I thought that they were going to try and start to dial him back a bit. But let's see here. JT Realmuto has played in 20 of their games so far. So, he's played in 80% of them.
You got a catcher giving you on average 3.5 WAR a year. You try to keep that guy around.
I would say so. But when they extended him after trading for him, he was uber athletic, great defensively, and that stuff is. I mean, you're a catcher. The wear and tear of that position.
He's got 4 bags already this year, Chris. Let's go.
How many?
4.
Okay, that's great.
I was going to talk about the Phillies needing like some speed dynamic. They're like 9th in baseball in stolen bases.
Okay,
I didn't have that.
What you definitely didn't have was the Mets pitching staff being as good as it is. Leading the league in ERA, got another really great performance last night. Griffin Canning danced around trouble all night long. I don't know what the hell has gone on with him. Are you now convinced a month into the season that they don't need to pull the trigger? Because at the beginning of the year, we were like, hey, Sandy's down there in Miami.
I'm not convinced, Chris, but they did it last year. The only starter they brought in was Paul Blackburn, I believe, and he didn't
sounds right.
do much. Shamaniz just got a PRP injection in his back a couple weeks ago. Like, I expect him to be back, so I don't look. Am I shocked over the last 2 years? Am I shocked at what they've been able to do with pitching? Absolutely, but it's gotten to the point now where we kind of have to believe in what they're teaching and how they're developing big leaguers. With the Mets right now. There's a reason I'm calling them the new Brewers, and that's not like saying their entire team is Brewers. I'm saying that as a compliment that they can take pitchers who have struggled recently, refine their arm angles, the repertoire, the pitch mix, all these things, and make them better pitchers. So I don't think they have to, especially if Benaya isn't to come back. McGill's looked incredible. Him or Clay Holmes is not allowed a home run yet. Kodai Senga has been a god. So it's I don't think they have to, Chris.
I don't think they will. And I'm shocked that I'm saying that because I thought for sure, like I looked at this team going into the year and I was like, you're going to pay $765 million for your right fielder and $340 million for your shortstop. And you're not going to go, it's going to be $800 million.
For let's just call it 800.
Okay. $800 million. You understand my point that you're going to spend that exorbitant amount of money on your position players and you're going to kind of patchwork your pitching staff. Like that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But if you listen to some of the stats, they have given up 12 earned runs in 12 home games. That is an ERA of 1 by their starting pitchers. Last time that happened for the New York Mets was 1986. Do you know what happened in 1986?
Don't think that's an ERA of 1. That'd mean their starters go 9 innings each game.
Well, they have an ERA of 1. You're right. Okay. That doesn't mean it, but I think they do have a home ERA of 1.
I love when I get math stuff right.
Oh, shit. Whatever it is. Point is, they've given up 12 earned runs. The starters have given up 12 earned runs at home. Butcher me for my math. The whole point is, the last time this happened was in 1986.
Shout out Crespi Carmelite, high school education right here. Hey, by the way, quick side note, they're ranked 18th in the country right now.
Crespi?
You and I should go to a game. Next week, they play Harvard Westlake.
Oh, I'll go see that.
Man. Yeah, it's right by your house.
Yeah. Well, don't give directions to my house, but yeah. Okay. Not bad. That's cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to make this fucking point about the Mets starting pitching that they haven't done something since 1986. Do you know what happened in 1986?
They won the World Series.
Yes, the last time they won the World Series.
Nice.
Yeah. They also haven't allowed a homer in their last 11 games, the starters. It's all very good. And the last point I want to make about the New York Mets is that until last night when I was doing research, it never caught my eye that Tyler McGill spells his name Tylor.
Yeah, he spells it like a Lannister. A Game of Thrones character.
You might as well be speaking another language.
Ridiculous. The fact that you don't know what a Lannister means is insane to me. Like, get with the time.
But not everybody has to watch Game of Thrones.
I think everybody does have to watch Game of Thrones.
Well, some of us just have to watch games for a living. And that's what I do.
If you want to talk about the Mets pitching staff and get your point across, just read Griffin Canning's stats. That's it.
That is true. He was one of the worst pitchers statistically in baseball last year. One of the worst.
Insane.
God, it is nuts what's going on. All right, today's episode of Baseball Today is sponsored by MLB 9 Innings, a Major League Baseball game you can actually play in the palm of your hands. MLB 9 Innings, a wide variety of game modes, from league modes where users can play through a season to live player v player. 9 Innings has over 2,000 player cards to collect and use in your dream roster. MLB 9 Innings has the most up-to-date rosters, team logos, ballparks, and uniforms. And 9 Innings has also added new historic players to the game, like the legendary Joe DiMaggio and Satchel Paige, Kirby Puckett and Derek Jeter, and one of the newest Hall of Famers in Adrian Beltre. Just don't touch his head on the game. You may have already seen it as well, but MLB 9 Innings has released an incredible trailer this year. Mike Trout's in it, Ken Griffey Jr.'s in it, Greg Maddux is in it. Check out the trailer on the MLB 9 Innings official YouTube channel. Download and play MLB 9 Innings 25 today. Click the link in the description. All right, before we continue on, a couple of shout-outs to our amazing community. First of all, y'all have been great. The banter in the comments section has been unreal. We don't care what you say about us. You're a moron. You know baseball. You're a true baseball head. You're an idiot. I hate your take. That's fine. You can say whatever you want. I like it if you keep it. Even if you disagree, you can make your point instead of just saying, your baseball takes suck. Like that's not a lot of creativity, but if that's the direction you want to go, so go it. We also have a Substack, okay? That's kind of an exclusive area at John Boy Media. Couple of shout outs to Michael Lauer. I hope I pronounced your last name right. And Jeff Terry, who said in Substack that this is their favorite show. So guys, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Yes, it's cool. All right, let's continue on. A pair of oft-injured outfielders / DHs came through for their respective central teams on Tuesday.
2-2 coming. Fly ball center field. Back goes Lee. He is still back, and it is gone. A grand slam for Christian Yelich opens this ball game wide open.
The 2-2 in the air to right center field. Buxton on the move to his left. Buxton will dive, and he caught the ball. Buxton caught the ball. Twins win. Twins win, and the Twins win it on a great defensive play by Buxton in right center.
Your boy Corey nailed that call.
He's real deal, man. He puts the work in for sure. I love CP. I'll be seeing you in about 1 month.
Yeah, he nailed that. You tweeted out afterward, did Byron Buxton just save the Twins season? Do you really feel that way?
Well, here's the thing, Chris. I do a Twins podcast with the guys at Score North, and we have a little group text, and we were talking earlier in the day about, man, like if they cough these next 2 series up, it's White Sox Angels. Like heads are gonna roll. Maybe not heads are gonna roll, but like they're like the process to start moving pieces would probably start happening. Like this is what happened last year too with them, is they got off to a slow start, then they went on a 12-game winning streak against the Angels and the White Sox. So we're texting during that 9th inning as the White Sox are putting base runners on and Duran's like looking shaky. And we said, like, man, if they lose this game, like this might be it. And Benintendi hits that ball, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he crushed that thing. And Buxton does what he does, man. He goes and absolutely gets it. And it was a huge momentum shift. If they lose that game, Chris, the clubhouse is in shambles. You are going back, walking in and being like, what are we doing here? We can't beat the White Sox. And instead, you have this incredible catch. You can use it as a springboard. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just saying, if they blow that game last night, the discussion starts happening more and more rapidly.
Okay. I'll buy that one, because when you tweeted it out, I was like, oh, come on, drama queen. Let's go.
I don't think I was being that dramatic, dude.
But
I really don't, Chris.
now that you've explained, well, we want to hear from you. Was Plouffe being a little too dramatic or not?
I'm not saying that they're going to go on to win the AL Central as I picked them in the preseason. I'm just saying, like, things would be exponentially worse if waking up today in Minnesota than they are.
Okay, so it does get me to my question about Yelich and Buxton. Which one is more important to their team's division title hopes?
I need to understand the question. Which play or which player?
Player.
It's Buxton. And I should say like this, with the caveat that I don't think they have a chance to win the AL Central. So maybe I should just say Yelich.
Well, hold on here. At the beginning of the year, Didn't you tell
Yes,
me that
I
the
said
Twins?
it. And now 3 weeks in, I don't think they have a chance. The Tigers look great. Your Guardians, I don't understand the Guardians. I never freaking will. What are they, 14-9 or some BS? They have a negative run differential. I don't get it, dude. They don't have a chance to win the AL Central. I mean, man, if it's a chance, it's this big. You know, like
You haven't even called a game yet for your Twins, and you're already counting them out. Wait, is this the Chris Rose Mets 2024 effect you're trying to have? Are you pronouncing them dead at?
No. Look, they have a very, very tiny, small, little Jake Storielli sized chance.
Oh, now, come on. All right, I'm not going to let you do that to our guy. I am no.
But okay,
we call that low hanging fruit.
that's a good one. You got it. I mean, look, the Brewers,
so low, even Jake can jump up and grab it.
The Brewers have a chance to win their division. Okay, I think the Cubs are great, but the Brewers are another one of those teams, man, that they just kind of have a million different ways to beat you. And they need Yelly to drive in runs, to hit for power, him and Chiriot, and like even Hoskins, because they got a bunch of speed guys that can get on base in front of them. You need to be able to drive in runs, and guess what? The best play for driving in runs is a grand slam, because there's 4 of them right there. So I think if the Twins do have a chance, if you're giving them a chance, which I gave him a little chance, Buxton by far means more. Like he has to play. He hasn't played great. Over the last 6 games, he started to get it going. Like the overall numbers aren't great. He only has 2 walks, like 30 strikeouts on the year, so he has to figure that out. But if the Twins are going to have any chance at all, Buxton has to be a guy and be healthy.
This is how bad your Twins have been offensively. Byron Buxton has the 2nd highest OPS among regulars. Only Matt Wallner is better. Buxton's OPS is 716.
Chris, he has a 264 on base percentage. He's walked twice on the year.
That is horrible. And you know what? I got to tell you, I looked at him last night and I love the guy. Like I always felt like he was one of those players you just wanted to stop and watch, whether he was playing offense or defense. And he looks like a guy in his 30s now. Like he's not this 23-year-old that's running around the outfield making all these amazing catches.
Did you just see the play?
Yeah.
So maybe stop.
But what I'm saying is that I don't seek it out anymore.
I'll say this about the Twins. They have not been at full health. Royce Lewis has not been there.
God. Here we go.
I know. It's same old song and dance. I get it. Is that not fact?
Boy.
Is that not fact?
Most teams are not at full health.
Okay. I didn't say most teams. I said the Twins have not been at full health this year. You just asked me to give them a chance. I'm trying to give them a chance here.
Okay. Now, what you're trying to do is give them excuses. By the way, Christian Yelich's importance on the Brewers is that he's one of 2 guys on this team that is making more than $8 million this year. So he has to be productive. I don't care whether he's playing left field less and less or as a DH. And he's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of this team. He's the guy everybody looks to that has been there, that has done it, that has won an MVP.
Steady, calming voice in that clubhouse. I think him and Reese are such a good tag team leadership. His overall numbers are okay. Over the last 7 games, though, I love his statistics. There's round numbers, Chris. Last 7 games, he's batting .400. His on-base percentage is .500, and his slug is .720.
And he's such a good ball player when he's using the middle of the field. I know we say that for a lot of guys, but his swing just always played great to left, center, and center, I felt like.
It never looks like he hits the ball that hard, and then all of a sudden he goes 480 feet. Yeah.
Never. Yeah. Wiry, strong. Okay. Rangers taking care of business out in West Sacramento. That's because a guy who grew up in the Bay Area is still probably pissed that the A's moved out from Oakland.
That ball smoked deep out to left field. Will it have enough? It's gone! Simeon smashes a 3-run shot.
Believe it or not, this is an amazing stat that our intern Sawyer found. Marcus Semien was hitting outside of the top 3 in the lineup for the first time as a Ranger. It's been that bad. He's hitting only $160. Here's the deal, though. He's got some big name company there in the American League West. Jordan's hitting 213. J-Rod's hitting 191. Of those big 3, which one needs to up his game the most and in a hurry?
I think it's Julio Rodriguez. Like, Seattle Mariners are playing pretty good baseball right now, and we always talk about, hey, what do they need more than anything? It's guys to show up offensively. We know he's a slow starter. Like, he needs to get that start happening as fast as possible. For the Rangers, going into yesterday, Chris, the record was great. They had scored the least amount of runs in all of baseball. Yeah. That's an insane stat. Their pitching has just been, well, their starting pitching has been great. So yeah, I'll say J-Rod because this has been something we've talked about for so long. If he gets it going, we know like the record when they score 4 or more runs, like he's got to be the guy that they paid him to be. That you have to be that if they want to take that next step, which I think they can, but a lot of it is based on him.
This was kind of a setup question because I knew both of us were going to answer Julio Rodriguez. At what point do we start questioning the contract? And I just want to put it out here that he doesn't turn 25 until December this year. So he's still kind of an infant in the baseball world, but he's been present and center for so long, it feels like. Trev, every year his average has dipped, his on base has dipped, which means his OPS has dipped. His career OPS is 795, well above average, but that's certainly not $25 to $30 million a year ball player. It doesn't feel that way, at least. He gets off to these horrific starts. Last year, he didn't have an OPS over 688 in a month until July. We can't wait half a year if you're the Seattle Mariners to have presumably your best everyday ball player turn it up.
Yeah, look, I know what you're saying. The contract's not that bad. Like what for the value that he provides. I know the pretty much any statistic you want to go to is declining every year over year. But $20 million due through 2029, then it drops down to 18. Those are all player options, so we'll see what happens at that point. I think it's not a $40 million contract. It's not even a 30 or 25. We're talking $20 million for a guy that you can plug him center field, who's going to give you that value. I'm not worried about the contract. I'm more worried about him being offensively one of the reasons like they just haven't broke through as a team. That's kind of more where my head's at.
Okay, so
contract-wise is fine.
You're right. I probably shouldn't have brought up the contract. You make a very good point. But let's just talk about the baseball player. Would you say that you're disappointed or okay with his career arc?
I mean, you got to say disappointed.
Is it fair? Is that fair?
21 years old, getting like MVP 7 votes, right? What was it? 7 or 3? MVP 7. Wins Rookie of the Year. Wins Silver Slugger. Like, it was a high note to start. So if you think collectively at the numbers, I think it's fine. But the arc, yeah, you're disappointed.
Is that fair? Or do you think we're being unfair?
A little bit. I think he gets knocked a little bit too much because we tend to typically just look at some of the offensive statistics, some of the slow starts, but what he brings defensively and base running and all those things, I think can be overlooked a little bit.
I think what would happen is if we flipped his career, then we would say, my God, he is just a superstar.
Yes.
If the career numbers were exactly what they are right now, but if his fourth year was his rookie year and his third year was his second year, if it was reversed, we would be like, man, oh man, look out, because it's coming.
I mean, he's a 30-30 guy on a 162 game average, So he still provides a ton of value, but if he can become, a run producer, which look, he's driven in 100 runs before. If he can be that guy, that's what gets Seattle over the hump. Plain and simple.
I think it's something to comment about in the section. What is, if you're not a Mariners fan, what is your perception of Julio so far in his career?
Good looking.
What's that?
He's good looking.
Great. If that's important to you, if you want to be superficial, you can comment on that. We definitely want to hear from Mariners fans, because you guys are the ones that live it and breathe it every day. What's kind of the temperature with Julio? Is he getting any heat? Should he be? I think we need to find out.
How many bunt hits does Julio have? Mariners fans, let me know.
Oh, well, we could probably look that
Like
up.
the contact rate would be nice to go up a little bit. Like less strikeouts would be really good for a guy that has speed.
Can we focus on a guy who would take a bunt hit, a bloop, a blast, a bleeder, anything at this point? Has anybody noticed that Jock Peterson of the Rangers is 0 for his last 41? 0 for. Do you know your worst 0 for in your career?
I don't.
It
wasn't 41. I went 0 for some series, which is probably like an 0 for a 19, 0 for a 20. I bet I had some of those.
Okay, tell us what is going through his mind right now.
It's a little bit different because he's a veteran. We just talked about this before the show. He's made some bucks. He's won the World Series. So like, things are a little bit different at that point in your career. He's got the contract, like nothing really matters to him. He wants to perform, no doubt about it. I guess like in the batter's box, he just feels in between pitches. He feels lost. Timing isn't there. You start to think like, damn, like am I done? And you have to get over that. Like you have to go back, get a highlight reel, like, pump yourself up. For him, like he's not hitting anything, but specifically, like he's a fastball hunter. Like that's what he's been, dude. Like he's got to get back on time to the fastball. Everything comes back into play when you give yourself time to recognize pitches. He's not doing that right now.
He doesn't have the record, by the way. That was Chris Davis, not Chris with a K, Chris with a C. 0 for 54 in 2019.
Hey, Stephen Vogt started his career off, 0 for 32 or 0 for 42?
No. I think it was 32. And he told us this on the Chris Rose rotation. That lasted through an off season for him.
Yes.
When he first
got whole entire first call up.
Yeah. So he had to live with that. Could you imagine that?
And then they traded him, right?
Yes.
Like he never got a hit with the Rays.
I believe that's correct. We'll have to look that up. Guys, you can put that in our little chat, Sawyer or Dan, if you can get it. Last thing, Padres. My God, ridiculous. They were a 2-0 winner in Detroit. That's already their 7th shutout this season. That's insane. Robert Suarez got the save. He's the first to double digits in that category, which is pretty good. He's also one of 4 closers with at least 5 saves and an ERA of 0. So with Devin Williams and Emmanuel Clase having their respective struggles, who is the guy you want on the mound right now? 9th inning, 1-run lead, 3 outs to go.
Mason Miller.
Yeah.
Mason Miller's my guy. 7 innings pitched, 14 Ks. He's allowed half a base runner per inning. His whip is .571. He throws 2 pitches, and it's just here. What do you got? Can you hit this? And most people cannot hit. I want to see how many walks he has on the year. 1 walk on the year, only 3. So 4 base runners total. I think he's I don't know if he's the scariest pitcher in baseball, but he's one of them.
I wonder, he was bandied about in trade talk last year. I really wonder if he gets traded this year.
I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, I understand like the reliever aspect of this and kind of the ebbs and flows, and you got to capitalize on, a high value, but he's electric, man.
I know he's electric, and I don't think the A's are going to compete. I think they'll be better, and they're more interesting.
I think they could, Chris.
I don't know.
I think they could make a run at the wild card. I do.
Do you know how much you could get for him?
A lot.
A ton. You could change. You could change the look of your franchise. Whether
they
you
don't
stay
need
in
any more
Sacramento
young kids, though, dude. They don't need any more young kids.
I know, but you could also get young players that are ready to play and make your team better. Maybe you go get some starting pitching.
Yeah, some starting pitching would be nice, but it's a tough one for me.
Mason Miller's my answer, too, by the way.
Is
Last
it?
thing, Clayton Kershaw continues his rehab in the minor leagues. Jack Caglione, who is one of the Royals' top prospects, if not their number one, laced an opposite field double against him. First of all, that must be pretty cool. Like when a future
he
Hall
went
of
2 for
Famer
2.
comes down, throws a rehab assignment, those guys just must be so jacked. Yes.
It's a ton of fun. I think he actually got 2 hits against Kershaw last night too. It gets you going, man. Like you're in the minor leagues and you know you're in the minor leagues. Okay, like you get that. So when you get a guy that's, look, Kershaw is obviously first ballot, one of the best left-handed pitchers of all time. All these things on the decline in his career, but it's Clayton Kershaw. You get pumped up a little bit. And those are some of the funnest days you have in the minor leagues, right there.
Who'd you face that was like on a rehab assignment? Any stars?
Yeah, I mean, I faced a ton of guys down there. But the one I will remember the most, though, and he wasn't a big leaguer yet, it was Steven Strasburg.
Oh.
Yeah, like we knew this guy was like going to be a stud, and I think he struck me out, and I think I got like a base hit off him or something. That really pumped me up. He was in AAA. He was in Rochester. He was with the Nationals, obviously. I think they were at that time. I don't know where they were at that time, but faced him, and that was pretty cool.
Was it just different?
Oh my gosh! Yes. You just knew he was going to be an ace. Like there wasn't any doubt about it. Things looked different. He threw the shit out of the ball, and his off speed. I think that was the biggest thing. Is I'd never seen like a slurve or a slider, whatever he threw, like move like that.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. All right. Love it. We're back at it again on Thursday. There's obviously a lot of day ball on this day. We're going to have a ton to talk about. We appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully my audio quality was better. We are working on it. We are not.
Oh, I got one more.
Huh?
I got one more.
What?
I just remembered this. This was like a spring training thing. He's like throwing the backfields. Josh Beckett.
Oh.
Dude. Talk about never seeing a pitch move the way that thing moved, his curveball. It looked like it was coming 30 miles an hour at you, and then it got to you and moved 100 miles an hour down. It was crazy. And those are the times you question, what am I doing here? As a young kid, and it just, like, I've never seen anything like this. I got to be this good, and I'll never forget that.
I got some good Beckett stories offline.
I'm sure you do.
Got some good ones. All right. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented mathematician, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We'll see you Thursday here on Baseball Today.